The Galactic Council chambers buzz with laughter as Ambassador Blake presents humanity's first warship designs to the assembled alien races. The sleek, silver vessels appear primitive compared to the massive bioships of the Vortons or the crystal-powered dreadnoughts of the Kalari. Admiral Roth of the Vorton Empire examines the holographic displays with visible amusement. These dot metal boxes? He scoffs, his tentacles writhing in what passes for laughter among his species. Where are the plasma cores, the living armor, the quantum shields? Captain Nex of the Kalari Defense Force taps her crystalline fingers against the table. Humans still use chemical propulsion. How quaint. Our ships harness stellar energy directly from stars. A other species join in the ridicule. The insectoid hive minds click disapprovingly, while the energy beings known as the Flux shimmer with what can only be described as condescension. Earth ships seem laughably outdated. Simple metal hulls, basic fusion drives, and what the aliens consider ancient ballistic weapons. Blake maintains his composure despite the humiliation. Our ships may look different, but they're built for a purpose. Yes, Admiral Roth chuckles, the purpose of being target practice for real warships. The meeting ends with humanity being assigned to patrol the Outer Rim territories, the Galactic equivalent of a backwater posting. As Blake leaves, he overhears whispers about the monkey species and their tin cans. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Hayes reviews the Council's dismissive report with her senior staff. Colonel Price, head of military engineering, clenches his jaw. They have no idea what human ingenuity can accomplish. Let them underestimate us. Hayes replies coldly. It's been humanity's greatest advantage throughout history. 3 months later, the Outer Rim patrol seems routine until long-range sensors detect something impossible. A massive unknown fleet moving toward inhabited systems. The Ravagers, a species thought extinct for millennia, have returned with technology that makes even the advanced Galactic Council races look primitive. The first Ravager ships tear through a Kalari colony defense force like paper. Their weapons drain energy directly from ships' power cores, turning the aliens' greatest strength into their weakness. The bioships of the Vortons fare no better. The Ravagers simply corrupt their living systems, turning them against their. Panic spreads through the Council chambers as reports flood in. Entire fleets are being destroyed without inflicting any meaningful damage on the invaders. Captain Ford, commanding the human patrol cruiser Defiance, receives the distress calls. His crew of 200 watches the tactical displays with growing concern as alien fleet after alien fleet goes silent. Sir, Lieutenant Webb reports from the sensor station. We're receiving an evacuation order from the Council. All ships are to retreat to the core worlds. Ford stares at the display showing refugee ships fleeing the advancing Ravager fleet. Among them are the same alien vessels that had mocked humanity's designs just months ago. Now they're running for their lives. Belay that order, Ford decides. We're moving to intercept. His crew exchanges uncertain glances. Their single ship against a force that's destroyed entire alien armadas? It seems like suicide. The Defiance drops out of hyperspace near the contested system, and Ford gets his first look at the Ravagers. Their ships are works of terrible beauty, dark, organic-looking vessels that seem to absorb light itself. Energy readings are off the charts. All hands, battle stations, Ford announces calmly. Today we show the galaxy what human engineering can really do. The Ravager flagship, massive beyond comprehension, detects the approaching human vessel. Its commander, an ancient being called the Void King, examines the readings with curiosity rather than concern. This small metal ship poses no threat, or so it believes. The Defiance opens fire with its primary weapons, not energy beams or exotic particles, but simple kinetic projectiles. Tungsten slugs accelerated to significant fractions of light speed. By magnetic rails, the Ravager ship's energy-draining defenses, so effective against alien technology, find nothing to drain. The metal projectiles punch through their adaptive shields like they're not even there. Hull breaches bloom across the enemy vessel as the railgun rounds tear through its organic armor. Impossible, the Void King hisses as damage reports flood in. What manner of primitive weapon bypasses our defenses? The human ship continues its attack, launching missiles that the Ravager's sensors barely detect. No exotic energy signatures, no quantum entanglement, just chemical explosives and metal fragments moving at tremendous velocity. More Ravager ships converge on the Defiance, but Ford has anticipated this. His ship's simple fusion drive, mocked by the Council races, provides something the enemy hasn't encountered: pure, brute force thrust that can't be drained or corrupted. The Defiance dances between energy beams, its mechanical systems unaffected by the Ravager's technology disrupting. Weapons. Every human system is analog, hardened, built to function in the harshest conditions without exotic dependencies. Sir, Webb reports with barely contained excitement, their weapons aren't affecting our systems at all. It's like they're designed to counter advanced alien tech, not our primitive equipment. Ford allows himself a grim smile as another Ravager ship takes critical damage from their missiles. Turns out being the backward species has its advantages. Asterisk word of the Defiance's success spreads through the human fleet stationed at the rim. Admiral Hayes receives Ford's tactical report and immediately understands the implications. She orders every available human ship to converge on the battle zone. The sight that greets the arriving human fleet is unprecedented. Dozens of massive Ravager vessels surrounding a single human cruiser, yet somehow being held at bay. The Defiance, scarred but unbroken, continues its deadly dance among the enemy ships. The Galactic Council races, monitoring from their retreating positions, watch in stunned disbelief as more human tin cans drop out of hyperspace. Admiral Roth's tentacles quiver as he realizes what's happening. They're simple weapons. They're actually working, he whispers. The human fleet spreads into attack formation. Unlike the elegant, energy-efficient maneuvers of alien ships, their approach is direct and brutal. No graceful curves or energy-saving trajectories, just raw thrust and momentum. Admiral Hayes aboard the dreadnought Indomitable opens a channel to all human ships. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves today. We're showing the galaxy that human ingenuity doesn't need exotic technology to be effective. The battle that follows is unlike anything the galaxy has ever witnessed. Human ships engage. At ranges the aliens consider suicidally close, their armor actually designed to take hits rather than avoid them entirely. When Ravager energy weapons strike human hulls, they find thick metal plating instead of vulnerable energy fields. Captain Maris of the destroyer relentless grins as enemy fire washes harmlessly over his ship's hull. All this time they called U.S. primitive, and it turns out we're the only ones who remember how to build a ship that can take a beating. The tide of battle shifts dramatically. Human missiles, invisible to exotic sensors, strike Ravager ships with devastating effect. Railgun rounds, traveling at relativistic speeds, punch through enemy formations like bullets through tissue paper. The Void King, watching his supposedly invincible fleet being systematically destroyed by primitive weapons, realizes the terrible truth. The Ravager's technology was designed to counter the advanced races of the ancient galaxy. They never encountered anything as deceptively simple as human engineering. Asterisk. The last Ravager ship explodes in a brilliant flash of corrupted energy as human torpedoes overwhelm its defenses. The Void King's flagship, the terror of countless civilizations, drifts powerless as its organic systems shut down from catastrophic damage. Across the battlefield, Human ships maintain their positions, weapons trained on the disabled enemy vessels. The crews work efficiently to rescue survivors from damaged alien refugee ships, their primitive medical bays proving surprisingly effective at treating various species. In the Galactic Council chambers, a stunned silence falls as the battle. Reports are processed. The species that had mocked humanity's warships just months ago now stare at tactical displays showing complete human victory against an enemy that had seemed unstoppable. Ambassador Blake stands before the same assembly, but the atmosphere has changed completely. Where once there was condescension, now there's respect tinged with fear. The Ravager's technology was designed to counter energy-based weapons and exotic defenses, Blake explains calmly. They never prepared for simple kinetic weapons and mechanical systems. Our primitive approach turned out to be their weakness. Admiral Roth's voice trembles as he speaks. Your species ... saved us all. We owe you a debt that cannot be repaid. Captain Nex nods slowly, her crystalline features reflecting new understanding. We dismissed your ships as crude metal boxes. We were fools. The Council votes unanimously to grant humanity full membership and a permanent seat on the military command structure. Human ship designs, once mocked, are now studied intensively by alien engineers seeking to understand the principles behind their effectiveness. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes addresses a gathering of human naval officers. Today we learned that sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective one. While other races reached for increasingly exotic technologies, we perfected the basics: armor, thrust, and kinetic weapons. Colonel Price smiles as he presents new ship designs incorporating lessons from the battle. The galaxy learned not to underestimate human engineering. Our ships may not be pretty, but they get the job done. As human patrol fleets take up positions throughout Galactic Council space, alien crews watch with newfound respect. The tin cans that once drew laughter now represent safety and protection. Ford, promoted to admiral for his actions, commands. The new joint fleet tasked with preventing future Ravager incursions. His crew, once considered backward by alien standards, now trains officers from dozens of species in primitive but effective human tactics. The galaxy had mocked humanity's warships, calling them crude and outdated. But when advanced technology failed against an unstoppable enemy, it was human simplicity, reliability, and engineering pragmatism that saved them all. In the end, the species that had laughed at metal boxes and chemical rockets learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the most sophisticated weapon is the one that simply works when everything else fails. The age of human naval supremacy had begun, built not on exotic technologies or advanced sciences, but on the fundamental principles that had served humanity throughout its violent history: solid construction, overwhelming firepower, and the unbreakable will to fight against impossible odds. Asterisk.